Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And my good friend Kelly Hampton is back with us, and we are going to be talking about empowering wisdom for the 2021 to 2024 timeline, what you need to know right now. And so part of what we're going to talk about today are new technologies for free energy in our future. I know we're going to be talking about time travel, new means of interstellar travel, new forms of commerce, what is meant by full disclosure, what Archangel Michael advises us to do to uplift humanity, what we are advised not to do during this time of transition, and so much more. There's always energetic processes that come through from Archangel Michael. We're going to be taking live caller questions, and always fun show, high vibe, and it's always so interesting what comes through. And so for those of you who don't know Kelly, she's been on our show many times, and we love having her here. She is an international and inspiring spiritual teacher and speaker, here to anchor the Christ grid to earth through her podcasts, books, workshops, private sessions, online courses, 5D Power Spot spiritual retreats, her star codes, her jewelry, now her paintings. Oh my God, there's that she's so creative. She is an elemental, an angelic, ascended master, and a 12th D intergalactic channel, a gifted medium, and a second wave Pleiadian. And so she has been with us many times, working with so many different things: star healing, intergalactic energy, star healing equine, star healing for star animals, ascended spaces. She's been working, wow, like amazingly for the past 25 years. So I'm so glad that she's back with us today to talk about this time that we're in, right? And what we need to know and what we need to do different and what not to do. So there's a lot of confusion at this time. So I'm glad that Kelly's here to clear things up a little bit. So Kelly, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Hi, ladies, maybe some gentlemen. I see Robert. Don't see everyone. Thanks for joining us. Again, thanks for having me. And some of you are new to me. Some of you I've worked with before. It's always a pleasure. The direction I got was to present something inspiring about our future. I think we've all had enough about everything else. And so that's largely what we're going to be talking about today. I believe Laura mentioned that we will be taking some calls, so I always enjoy that. A quick mention that, there is a special free gift. The link is being repaired, so if you have already looked and went, oh no, nothing's there, we're working on it and hope to have that resolved for everybody, whether you're on the call or not, in the day or so, if not sooner. So thought I'd mention that. Also, Laura's been kind enough, when it does come time to some live channeling, and I might very well turn my camera off briefly, just so, I'm not distracted by, looking. I don't usually channel with my eyes closed, so that's, why sometimes I often have the camera off, because I'm not what you call a trance channel. If you're new to me, not all trance channels close their eyes, but I guess the majority of them do. So again, it's just a means for me to, get the information without being distracted by your lovely presence.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, and I was gonna say, it's like, there are, a lot of healers or speakers or guests who don't like to work with the camera because just how they work with their energy and everything. So it's all cool. It's fine. They just get to see me more.
Nothing wrong with that, lovely
exactly,
lady.
Exactly, right? It's all good. So let's start talking about, the wisdom for right now, what we need to know. And specifically, this is February, beginning of February, and it's already been quite an intense year. It's only been a month, but it's already so intense, right? So what can we do? I wanted to start off really quickly with what can we do to stay balanced and in harmony this year with, what's right for us. Let's just start off with that, and then we'll go into the other stuff.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. I always also like to, do a quick invocation for prayerfulness and protection. So if you want to do your own silently, but I think it's very important, particularly when more than one of us get together for any reason of this type. I have my own personal invocation and set our intentions and prayers, but I set
Awesome.
mine before the call. But if you all want to take a minute to do that and haven't done so, we'll pause for a moment to do that. Um, Michael's got a lot of guidance, got a lot of things he wants to talk about, and I'm sure maybe some of you have even more things that we don't have planned and be covered. But um, to respond to Laura's question, which I'll provide in a sort of a global way, and then we can look at these different elements as it moves our group. But um, the advice to do to uplift humanity. Michael said, I channeled this about an hour, 2 hours ago. Many in the political arena, this is Michael's guidance. Many in the political arenas around the world are being overthrown presently. So as we move into our call and our time today, there might be just some brief moments where we talk about some things that are not so jolly, but we're not going to go down into that hole. I mean, the whole idea of, and I think you'll find Michael's guidance generally in anything that he communicates is very uplifting. If you've read any of his books or followed us along on the programs here or whatever, it doesn't mean he avoids us, from looking at some deep issues, and he asks us to like put our head in the sand and ignore things. That's not what I'm saying. But particularly when we get to some, questions, we want to keep them on the sort of up and up, the bright future that lies in front of us. And so for a lot of reasons, not just personally, but so to get back to Michael's guidance, he says, and some of this sounds like probably common sense, but that's sometimes what archangels do, especially Michael. He's a very earthbound, I would say a very earthbound guy that speaks very practically. And so he said, I'm not asking you to demonstrate, incite, or participate in riots, invite anger, or any other negative emotions. I am asking each of you to humbly, gracefully, gently embrace the realization that these changes are necessary and will promote healing. I am asking for patience and cooperation as these events are settled into place. Please do not use words like shambles, collapse, lockdown, chaos, and others of similar vibration in your discussion with others. And I guess I would just go on to say in our own thoughts as well. Think of them as shifting sands, and each of you will be personally in a better place. Remain flexible, keep loving, and keep embracing. When I ask, may I go ahead? May I go ahead a bit? When I ask Michael for other guidance, he goes on to encourage us. There will be no more AIDS, no more cancers, no more heart disease, and few premature deaths. Look no more for aging. And some of that we'll touch upon when we talk about the solar ray activations that he downloaded to me just very recently, like a month ago. So if and when you might be called to work further with me, you'll be some of the first on the planet to experience these activation of these golden discs that we'll talk about in a moment, and how and what Michael tells us these being connected to these golden discs in the earth can do for us. It is the rise in your consciousness and your children's which will create this. Let us speak of unified fields for a moment. A unified field is one that is restored, restructured, renewed to its original perfection. That was the matrix or the grid which the God mind, God force created upon creation, which mankind's ignorance disturbed. A matrix or organizational grid is an unseen energy current with a very structured one wrapping around our earth, and there are many others. Matrices are a way of organizing energy. Previously, many grids had dissolved into places where the collective consciousness was low, and maybe some of you are grid workers, or choose to be although he's saying in some places it's like the thinning of a sock, these grids. But for the most part now, because the consciousness is higher, Michael's telling us, reassuring us that the grids are healing if they're not totally healed. Now the matrix is restored without holes or fragments missing, no thinning of the holographic connections. This means a healthier planet, and a healthier planet means healthier humans. So maybe that sounded like the ending, but it can also be the beginning of hopefully setting the tone for our time together about, as the title, invited everyone, new insights, but they're new positive insights for the time for this particular year and going out a bit further.
Awesome. I love that. And that's the thing. It is about, focusing on how we want to move forward in a positive way, in an uplifting way for ourselves, the planet, the animals, everybody, right?
Right. Michael's got some comments here about new technologies, interstellar travel, new forms of commerce, disclosure, things of that nature, whenever we want to move into those.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
If I can, how can we be excited about this year? And again, Michael's guidance is as follows, friends. It is not my intent to spread fear, only enlightenment. There is more love and light healing coming to the universe now to rectify and overthrow dark alien sabotage than at any other time in your history. What is so encouraging is that many wonderful discoveries will be continuing to come from the minds of children. The minds of young indigo adults are already creating ways for humans to live longer. Not only those indigo adults, but light workers of certain means that are working that way. Healthier lives, as are the crystalline, Antillean, blue moon, and blue ray children. And that's probably not a big surprise to a lot of you that may have those children or grandchildren or follow Laura's teaching and her shows of that nature. But validation and the restoration of hearing again, or the reinforcement of what Michael tells us, still, I hope and trust is of value, because so many are not awakened yet still. And, that's a large reason for kind of, moving into this kind of topic out of any we really could have presented today. Maybe some of you are curious about new technologies for free energy. So if I can, I'd like to go into that. And then Laura, you tell me if you want to stop for questions or whatever. But I tried to do some channeling, without being here 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
But to touch on a variety of things that might be of interest to us.
Yeah, sounds good.
So this is what I heard. The climate of 2021 largely depends upon 3 things. Maybe somebody wants to take a guess or knows or wants to unmute themselves or use the chat box to take a stab at what they think they are. The climate or the, what do y'all think those are? The climate of 2021, Michael says, depends upon 3 things.
Yeah, what do you think those 3 things are, everyone? Type in the chat.
The health of the earth,
yeah,
the health of the whole of all of us, to regain all our health and as many beds as possible.
What was that was the last thing, dear? What was the last thing you?
However many med beds we can possibly have to heal the earth, to heal the oceans of the people on the earth, and to give them back a sense of hope and love.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that sharing. Anybody else? It looks like, can they have their hands up? Does that mean you're taking them, or?
The people that have their hands up are going to want to ask a question later, but there's lots of there's lots of comments in the chat, and they're talking about love, kindness, and forgiveness, heal our relationship with the earth, stay in our heart, love and acceptance, faith, love, all sorts of wonderful stuff. Being present.
free energy, compassion, new money, government systems, collaboration, being present. So I don't know that Michael said it a little differently. Well, he said it a little differently, but we're all on the right track, right? There's no, what Michael says, the climate depends largely upon three things. The stars and the planetary alignments, that's one.
Mm-hmm.
The human will, that's two. And the collective, that's three. What do I mean by this? Michael says, timelines, as you often refer to them, are not linear. They are coaxial, movable, concentric, flexible. Therefore, the climate or tone for this year and the following year, my beloveds, is partially in your hands. This is why I chose to send messages of encouragement now to help direct the flow of the timeline, even if it is seen as a tiny piece of help. We will explore many things in our brief time here together, starting with new technologies for free energy and the positive implications it will have or they will have. Then move to enlightenment pertaining to future generations. After all, my beloved, the future is already happening in parallel realities. Regardless of whether a soul is a star seed, seated here to actively elevate the planet, minds of all ages, all races, all regions, on and off planet, have developments ready to expand and heal Mother Earth and make your lives much, much easier than when we speak of free energy, Wind and solar power combines are above the Earth ethereally, and they are also within the chambers of some of the tunnels within the inner Earth. The difference now and in the years ahead is that their numbers will quadruple. Not only will their numbers quadruple in the next 3 to 5 years, but the way they operate is much, much simpler, partly due to the influx of light from the Pleiadians and other light races. Many of you already know of the advanced light races that have helped your planet for eons of time. Now, specifically, those light races from further away in the galaxies are beaming photoelectronoscopic, how about that, isotopes into generators that are not man-made generators, but light race made. This means simply more wattage. That's not to say that mankind's own ingenuity has not also made his and her contributions in advancing safe free energy. Of course, they, you, your grandparents have. Hi, Kelly, it's Rosalie calling. I wonder if you want to pause for some questions, or there's a bit more about this. Maybe it's best to finish this, okay?
Sure.
There's like another couple
Mhm.
minutes here.
Yeah.
In addition, I foresee that within the next 3 to 5 years, some energy forms, which many of you presently use, will be free. Reform will continue to take place on your Earth, and many regulatory agencies and organizations will provide free energy. Woohoo! You're probably thinking, well, I'll believe it, I'll believe it when I see it. Not only to the poor, but to large sectors of the majority of your populace. How grand is that? Additionally, in a moment, and we can pause in between this, so I will speak to space colonies, but within a decade, a large portion of sourcing fuel for planet Earth will be sourced from other planets in your solar system through interstellar travel to them. Planets like Pluto, Venus, Saturn, and Uranus especially. With additional solar light wave energy generation being released through the many solar disks within the Earth itself, placed there primarily by the Pleiadians and the Arcturians for just this purpose. There are many light beings on your planet whose star mission also is to assist in this issue. And the issue, again, what we're talking about is new technology for the future, if you lost sight of that or came in late. Sourcing fuel for your planet without harming the planet and all living things on it. As a result of many ongoing missions, this year, 2021, will see a swelling of non-carbon-based purification systems being developed and run, which will speed up ozone repair. Michael went on to say, without sounding too much like a physicist, I would liken this to white noise in soothing one's soul to soothe the ozone. I hope this help creates an image in your magnificent minds. Also, wind generation models are in operation in Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Norway, the Netherlands, Scotland, Ireland, and England, which are part of a collective union. Many wonderful, positively charged ions of energy are being produced by them, and more of the world will come to know of them this year. He said, if you look past the fog, you will see the sun. I thought that was so beautiful, the way he closed that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's like the sun is always there, meaning the light is always there, even though sometimes it may look, you know, really foggy and we can't see clearly, but it's always there, right?
Right, and that's what a lot of us is happening, right? We're looking at the fog.
Yeah.
We're not looking at the sun.
Yeah, exactly. So switch your focus, right? Switch your focus to the light, to the sun. Your perception.
I wonder if there's any questions about the technology aspect that people have before we get different topics. So I guess should I pause for that?
Yeah, sure. So does anybody have any questions about the technology that Archangel Michael was just talking about or sharing?
Did y'all understand that? And I guess if you didn't fully, you can listen to the replay, or we'll try to go over it again.
Yeah, sounds good. There are a lot of questions about the med beds. Is that even a possibility for us at this time?
Let me see, just a moment. Magnetic based pistons and decellization from Christy, excuse me. Just some comments here, holding our vision without distraction. What do we want to ask Michael about med beds?
Yeah, because people are talking about med beds a lot nowadays, but is that really going to happen in the next, little while? Or
I don't even know what they are. He's never spoke. He's never spoken to me about them, but that doesn't mean we won't listen right here and now. I'm happy to do that. I don't. Yeah. But what are they?
They're a galactic technology that I don't even know either. I mean, I had a guest talk about it once on the show here. Brenda Lainoff talked about it, but there are other people that are talking about it. I know Linda asked about med beds, if we're going to have med beds on the planet.
I'll ask them when they are, all about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Michael, as you're hearing this, what do you want to say about the galactic med beds? When are they, for let's say mainstream, or, most of humanity? What's the timeline on this, please? Do you see it? 15 years, he's saying.
Okay.
That's Michael's timeline, 15 years. What else do you want to share with us about this, please? He's saying, well, he wants to say, if I've made a point of separation, projecting something 15, 20 years, I don't know I've done much service. He's saying, I think the greatest service is of the moment and what is being done in the here and now, or the here this year, the here next year.
Yeah.
He's saying, so I hope I'm straddling both sides of the fence, he's saying, of, being responsive, yet, making the point of offering many other alternatives that are coming to support us. He said, was I not clear in the point about the solar disk that can increase intelligence and that can have souls who live longer? Was I not clear about that? He's saying, and well, we're not clear about other things that have yet to come. So again, I feel as though it's, if you're with me, my friend, he's saying there are many threads that build a tapestry, And there are many, without the threads that build a tapestry, there is no tapestry. So what he's trying to say to us again is that before, if Michael's timeline, and again, he usually humbles himself to say he's not even a very high ranking angel, but if Michael's timeline is right about the galactic medbeds being 15 years, Earth years from now, well, he's also teaching us to not lose sight of these important threads that are going to make up a tapestry, or there won't be one. You know, it's just really like anything, right? You can't grow a garden without, you know, there's a seed, but you can't grow a garden without the water and the fertilizer and all the other things that go with it. So perhaps that's enough about the med beds.
Yeah.
I mean, your group tell me, but you know, let's see. Should we try to respond to anything in the question? Michael isn't talking about those 70-story wind turbines in the ocean, are you? Again, I'd have to ask him about, he didn't mention those. Oh, well, he mentioned wind turbines. Let me ask him directly for our group, okay? And thank you for your question. Michael, what about, what's your information about these tall wind turbines in the ocean? What do you have that is of a positive guidance for us? Well, Michael's starting to say that they've been there a very long time. That's just what I'm starting to hear right now. They've been there for generations, he's saying. First, they were there ethereally for a long period of time before the manifestation of them. They're still in a state of creation and development, because Michael's saying they're a bit too clumsy, you know, in the physical form. They're a bit too clumsy, too large, and they conceptually we're talking about the same thing, but if we want to be more specific about it, to me, he said they appear like shoes that are a bit too big. The world will grow into them if this is being helpful to the souls that are of interest to this. And so that's how I would liken this concept to shoes that are a bit purposefully too big, bit too clumsy until the consciousness can grow into them. But because they can be of a much smaller a structure and accomplish quite a bit more, so they're quite a bit more movable. And this I anticipate happening again in a near time frame.
Okay, good.
Near to me, for your understanding, generally, friends, is 4 to 5 Earth years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. That's more manageable than 15. I like that better.
Let's see, can you speak to the disk in Antarctica? And I feel drawn to this, and I can insist, yes, we can get to the disk now, or we can get to the disk in just a second, because space travel. If I can, why don't I present more of the material, and then, you know,
sure. Yeah.
Because if that's all right, because
sounds
maybe
good.
the material will answer some of the questions that are coming in, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
So, let's see. One of the things I was guided to listen to were any updates on interstellar travel. Michael's response was, the ease for space colonies to develop is now upon us. These colonies may be viewed as space stations, but I prefer to refer to them as colonies in the sense that they are more like environments and less like robots. Your children and your children's children will be commuting to distant galaxies and new colonies. The colonies will be created through a higher intelligence, which is being absorbed by many already. Those who have ascended to little or no fear will be the first to make the journeys. A projected timeline is 50 to 60 years from the date of this transmission. I went ahead and asked Michael, he wanted to talk a little bit about new insights on plants and animals. So if I can move into that, we'll get to the discs and other things. And the space travel for the public. just let me respond to that comment, Michael. Is that approximate timeline the same? Yeah, he's talking about more mainstream, mainstream. Many of the newly rediscovered plants and animals are functioning at a higher level, and a lot of you all know this already, right? I think I've even done a program on this in the past, a year ago or whenever, whomever, about, not just human beings, but plants and animals and gems. We know there are new gems that continue to come to the planet. But he goes on to tell us part of this means that it will be easier for them to reproduce, which I thought was interesting when he says, so for example, if there is a barren desert, the new seed of the ashwagandha plant will generate more oxygen and therefore cool the air quickly and rapidly. This is already happening in many parts of Southeast Asia and Southwest America. As more and more of these plants and animal species are rediscovered, many of them will hold the keys to mankind's healing of illnesses. So he's not just talking about a medbed from our galactic brothers. Many of them hold the keys to spinal regeneration. This type of synchronicity between plants and animals is also known as harmonic convergence. In 2021, particularly, the fog will lift and sunlight will reappear to those who look for it. Here again, he's stated this twice now. When souls look for fog and keep commenting on the fog, they will never see the sun. However, there are trade deals which will come about in grace this year, which will seem unlikely to some of you. These trade deals will allow for a more balanced ecosystem, a more balanced economy, a more balanced equality overall. Look for more information to be relayed in open, honest channels, especially near June, July, August, and beyond. Okay, and then money. I know a lot of people have questions about money or about commerce, about bitcoins, about all of that. Kelly, can you tell us more about the trees, intelligence, nature, and earth? They are intelligent beyond our understanding and the unified field already. Would you like me to respond to that, Alara?
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Michael, what do you want to enlighten us about the trees, intelligence, and Mother Nature? And well, without channeling this part, I know some things on my own from channeling over the years, and some of it I don't recall whatsoever. But many of the trees have crystalline cores within inside of them that, well, they do that. They connect to the crystalline core in the inner earth. Some of them also used to be infiltrated, but there has been more talk. I've noticed a little bit more lately, let's say in the last year, maybe some of you have, about the sounds that plants emit in your home, and the communication between the trees and what they say. And of course, I've channeled trees before over the years, rocks, elementals, and all of that. Let's see what Michael has to say about new insights, maybe that we don't know. And so, Michael, in this year, let's say this year, next year, is there something you'd like to share with us about the trees' intelligence? Oh, he just said right there, they're on strike right now.
That's
the tree, it's kind of funny in a way, but I'm sure it isn't. But why are they on strike, Michael? Well, he's saying sometimes I use humor to make a point, but they are on strike until every man, woman, and child comes to understand this. Do you know they can shut the intelligence off? He's saying just like many other consciousness forms do, consciousness doesn't run always 24/7, even though that might be what you've been taught, or what at times I may have even been taught, that energy is consciousness and consciousness is forever flowing. He's saying, well, in some cases, in some dimensions, that is true. But what I'm trying to say to you is that there are many trees. You asked me to look at the deciduous trees, particularly in certain parts of the world, that have turned themselves off. Think about it that way, so they can recalibrate themselves. There's actually a divine intelligent switch, if you will, that can turn them on and off. The intelligence is orchestrated by one God mind, which is the mother father component of all that is. And so it's a bit like if I told you, friends, that if any stand or grove of trees, for example, is streaming too much energy because the density around them, is very, very dense, and they're working very hard, they can turn themselves off in a manner similar to a television set, although it's probably a poor analogy to liken one to a television set when we're talking about our future, he's saying. So, by the way, in the future, he wants to say, not information will not be, the way that most human beings receive their information is going to be changing. Why is that? Because you'll know it yourself telepathically. There won't be a need to turn on the television, he's saying. How about that for us? So back to the trees, I guess he's made the point that sometimes they have the intelligence to moderate their flow of their energy. It's not a lot different, I suppose, than we do. We have the ability to moderate our energies, whether we're fully present or not, and that kind of thing. I don't know if he's responded to the question the person had there or not, but let's leave it at that maybe for a minute.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's lots of questions in the chat.
Yeah, maybe is it helpful? Do you have a problem reading me the ones you'd like me to respond to, Alara?
They're all over the place. They're all over the place. So whatever, I like this one from Corinne. How can we be of the greatest service now to assist in the evolution of our planet and consciousness for the greater good?
All right, thank you. Well, what did Michael tell us? Maybe that's not all of what he'll want to tell us again or restate, but be flexible. Right? Be flexible. Look for the sun, not for the fog. Perhaps really an aspect of that question might be talking about, a particular mission that someone has. And so again, that might be something that we move into in the calls about, where does Michael feel you personally, whoever wrote that, is best served to bring it from a global platform to a very specific one.
Yeah.
Many times that kind of work is done, not totally and exclusively, but many times he has souls do the work energetically from where you are, whether it's with star codes or throwing rainbow snowballs or using alchemy in a wide variety of ways. So again, maybe, the questions certainly can be of a global nature, but if it speaks to someone that they want more of that, what can I particularly do, then I'll certainly be happy to listen to that.
Oh my goodness, how many questions are going to be about that?
Well, okay, retract. No, seriously.
It's the number one question everybody has. What's my purpose? What should I be doing? What's my calling? What's my mission?
Well, maybe some of you don't know, but I'm happy to go into that. We've done many programs, over the decades since Michael, particularly, and Jesus, Michael put the channeling rods in my ears, and Christ came to me and said I'd be speaking with my eyes open 30 years ago and all of these things. There are different phases, all the masters are, I would like, they're current, right? So what I'm trying to say is there are certain things that are presented, at least to me, and I guess many other light workers, that are relevant to the time we're living in now. Why would we be talking? In fact, one of the things that's relevant, I started to say, why would we talk about slavery in China or something when history, needs to be written? Except, how do you bring that kind of thing in the time frame now? You talk about time travel, and you talk about what the purpose of time travel is, and which I'd like to, while I'm on the roll there, I might as well enlighten everyone if you don't know. The purpose of time travel is to go forward or back in time to correct something. Okay, so my one example that had me getting along this line of thinking is, of course, there were slave trades in many parts of our world. Michael just happened to pick China as an example, but if a person, in order to time travel, a person, he tells us, needs to have the belief that there's life in other dimensions, and beyond the belief, they have to have an understand. That's not the right word. Understanding. They have to see, feel, or know energy. Okay, or have a conscious understanding of it. Unconsciously, souls can time travel, but he explains that time traveling and astral traveling are not the same things. And let me just, because time travel, that's how you move from the current place of where we are. The ability to time travel and the awareness, the more people knowing about time traveling, and not living in the past. When the energies continue to be faster and lighter, we all have probably heard this from 2012, even before 2012. It's going to be easier, he tells us, for us to travel in time. It means you can project yourself to a time in the far distant past or the future, or both. If a soul wishes to return to the slave trade, to do so for the purpose of righting this wrong. That's the purpose of time travel, or spread love, or to right a wrong, or to reformulate a genetic code, or go to a particular place where there was war, greed, oppression, poverty, to erase the cellular consciousness there. That's what time traveling in the light is. There will be some, Michael has said, who will come to me directly and ask him to what place they should travel. But his response is, to which I reply, anywhere a grid may need to be restored, anywhere there's been war, greed, oppression, to erase the consciousness, we formulate codes. I hope you will come to view this wisdom as exciting. This is the divine intelligence which will continue to guide and orchestrate everything involved in interstellar time travel. Again, only those who carry the highest frequency within them through their thinking will be able to make this transition energetically. Okay, now just a quick side note. Anyone that's worked with me before, and some of this I know I presented with Alara over the years. Anyone that's experienced a second level star healing intergalactic energy session, who's had that readiness themselves, you would have time traveled also, because nice. that's a modality that helps facilitate and do that. So that's the purpose of time traveling.
I love it. And it's possible for all of us if we are at that vibration, and working for the betterment of humanity and the planet.
Right, those that carry the highest frequency of within them through their thinking. So, I suppose we'd all like to think that we carry that high level, vibration, and to do that, consciously do that. Not saying we don't, but it's when there's fear there, whether it's little fear, big fear, any kind of interfere, fear there. I remember one time, just a quick side note, I was working with, I think he was about a 10-year-old boy, and that's the importance of communicating and teaching some of our children if they don't know how important they are, you know, although there's probably no youngsters on the call here, we can be the teachers for them, because who else is if it's not us, in a sense.
Yeah.
But to keep reminding them that what did those higher vibrational souls come in for? Change, right? They can do the work telepathically. Some of them can already, you know, some of the young crystalline kids, when they're a little older, they can roll a pencil across the table without even touching the thing. So, you know, these are the types of all-knowing origination of returning to one source, all-knowing, that the God mind created for all of us before there was interference. But where was I going with this point? I wonder about the children. Don't know, darn it, I lost my train of thinking there. Maybe somebody else.
Maybe it'll come back.
We'll see who was listening and
Yeah.
was sleeping.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. How about we move, is cryptocurrency of a high vibration or not? Can we move into that
Sure.
currency kind of thing? And I'm going to ask him directly to answer that. And then I know he had quite a bit to say about any new money systems that may be going in place this year, you know. So yeah, we're not going to get into Michael said to invest in it, or Michael said not to invest in it, or, you know, we need to tread lightly on not only that, but in any manner, right? I'm just a spiritual messenger, you know, we all have the free will aspect of things. So,
yeah.
And sometimes this idea about trusting our own inner guidance, you know, a lot of times there is interference. I've experienced it myself many times, and I think almost in every daily activity, you know, multiple forms of protection, embodying, you know, love and kindness statements, you know, doing every tool that we can, that we know about. Sometimes it takes many tools to be in that high vibrational place. Sometimes the tools have been opened up for us by different stargates have been opening. Sometimes the tools are brought forth by light weavers and souls like ourselves, and so on and so forth. But getting back to the question about the monetary system, and then specifically this question. Oh, I know, soul purpose. I'm sorry, soul purpose. I will get back to that. If nothing new is going to be in place this year as far as world currencies.
Okay, yeah, we are talking about this year and next year into 2024, yeah.
There are going to be some enhancements in 2021 in some countries that will allow the easier flow of monies to everyone as a result of criminal charges being brought against many who have debased humanity. What does this mean globally? It means that it will be easier to reach your financial goals than ever before, especially in the second half of 2021. It also means that the world global reset energetically will be in full swing. This means that no matter where you are in the world, as humanity transitions into the age of Aquarius, that's where we are now, debts will be absolved. And some of you, depending where you're living, already know this if you've had your children's college debts absolved for college. This may be hard for some of you to believe, but it is truth from the spiritual realms higher than myself. Some of this will come to certain areas sooner than others, but nevertheless, these next 4 years into the Aquarian age will be expanding desirable results. Of course, financial independence is just one aspect of independence. Where are some of the global regions where financial equality will arise first, you ask? That is not a simple matter to explain. It is not like Australia, then India, then Honduras, then the Americas, for example. This will only create more separation. What I am attempting to communicate is that all landmass consciousnesses will continue to rise this year. So those areas where vibration is highest will first see this easing of debt. Furthermore, your original questions imply the digital payment systems which are already in place, and perhaps you are also requesting insight into gold, silver, and other metals as currency. It is going to be useful for everyone of any age this year to be flexible with their thinking. Those who hold on to the, quote, old ways will come to prosperity a bit later than those who are flexible. There are, of course, exceptions, which I will not go into now, but reserve that for perhaps later. Yes, there will be a change in the currencies themselves globally in the Aquarian age. And the age is what, Alara, 200, 2,000 years? I don't know, how, it's not long.
It's a long time, at least 2,000 years.
Not just how money flows to everyone. Untold riches are ready to be released and redistributed over the next 4 to 5 years, which were amassed by the corrupt elite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was the channeling on the currency.
Mm-hmm.
So is cryptocurrency, Michael, then directly of a high vibration or not? Well, he's saying it's a bit underdeveloped, but it's not, his comment is really not about the currency. He's saying, if you take 2 apples, my friends, and the person who holds 1 apple in one hand has a consciousness, doesn't that consciousness affect the apple? Another person of a different consciousness has another apple. Does their consciousness not affect that apple? And what he's saying is he can't give one answer. What he's teaching us, again, as a reminder is, well, I'm interpreting it to mean extending. Where did the currency come from? How are you getting the currency? What is the path of the currency? And all the other things that might go with what he's saying about, and your own particular feeling about the currency, right? That almost goes back to the Dr. Emoto's teaching about your, water, and the atoms and the cells that change in water. You can bless your toxinated water that comes out of your faucet, right? And change its cellular structure. So it's a bit more of a complicated, maybe, or expanded answer or response. It would be nice to hear a yes or no, I guess, but that's not, but that's not what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just checking to see where we're at.
Okay, if I may, while you're doing that, people were asking about the discs, and I would like to talk about the discs for a minute, and then if it's all right, we can move into the Star Mission Soul Theme thing. I kind of thought everybody was well on their way, or many people were kind of on their way to that, but I'm happy to, I don't know everything, and maybe I made an assumption I shouldn't have, but yeah, that is still, no matter what age we're living in, I think, that's one of the human desires, right? Who am I? What am I here to do? Now it's where am I from? Has been like that for my work anyway for the last few years and so on. But those are eternal questions, I think, for people of any generation and any age. It's just that, as we say, part of the awakening is more souls are, I believe, I hope, we're doing our part, right, to and so are the thousands and thousands, and I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of light workers that are star seated on our planet now, much less all the ships that are out there. I don't know what the number is. It's got to be huge by now. But in describing the solar ray tonal activations, this is a little bit of what I'd like to explain, because there were some questions here about it. I'm not going to do the tonal activation. I'm going to explain what it is now. So in the event that you are interested, and as it links to, you know, better, perhaps stronger mental capacity, perhaps longevity. Michael will tell us what being activated to these solar discs can be for a person. We're not doing them in the live call. I want to describe them as it relates to the questions and some of what we're talking about, but they're going to be presented in one of the packages if the offer appeals to people. So if I can share what these solar ray discs are all about. As human beings step into the 50 and transition into the age of Aquarius, many things will be revealed and changing. To help you understand the importance of experiencing solar ray activations, first allow me to educate you on what they are. There are solar ray discs, sometimes referred to as golden discs, in various places on your Earth. Because someone was asking me, I'm always connected to Atlantis. I wanted to know why, so I want to try to get back to that person individually in a second. Because one of the discs is there. These solar ray golden energetic discs were placed there by various light races who knew that there would be a time when your Earth would enter this new age. These golden energetic discs were placed about 15,000 years ago. The purpose of each disc varies slightly, but overall they serve the purpose of anchoring the great central sun, the cosmic sun, and the second sun's energies onto Earth for the enlightenment of every man, woman, and child. It is the solar or sun's rays, that's what solar means, sun rays from these three main sources, which are igniting the flame of remembrance. Some of you, you know, like, what is that? What is the flame of remembrance? Michael answered, who you are, exclamation mark. These tonal activations are one way to speed the process up for an individual to be reunited with the truth, freedom, prosperity, and justice, period. Each of,
That's
beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's powerful. I love it. Yeah, that is powerful.
Each of these five, in my case, they're tonal transmissions, or will carry mnemonic codes to connect a soul with the five main discs. There's a solar disc in Australia known as Uluru or Sacred Airs Rock. Maybe some of you have been there. There's another solar ray golden disc in the Andes near Lake Titicaca, big landing spot, portal for light ships. There's a third main, these are main discs because there's lots of others. There's a third main solar ray disc in Antarctica. There's a fourth solar ray disc in the Himalayas, however you say that, and a fifth main solar ray disc near Glastonbury, England, Stonehenge to be exact. There are lesser golden discs timed to go off, that's the word he used, at various other Earth times to help humanity make this transition into the age of Aquarius. More positive stuff about what's going on, whether you see it, whether you know it, whether you don't. Now, hopefully, at least you have a little peace if you didn't already know it. Mm-hmm. Each of these tonal activations will connect with each of these five main solar discs. These activations, so what kind of changes can be experienced by receiving the tonal activations? Also, it's interesting, Michael picked 5, just because, you know, a lot of numbers carry, you know, power of certain types, and we use 5 in lots of ways. These activations are primal. This is what I wanted to get to. They will open the throat chakras for many who have been silenced. For others, their root chakras will be realigned and align them for greater forms of intimacy. Other souls will have their Kundalini experience heightened in ways unimaginable before now. Still others will have their minds expanded in ways not before revealed, allowing for the potential for greater cognitive ability. So those med beds, 15 years from now, again, here's a big thread, or 5 big threads, or however many threads you want to think about that are making up that tapestry into the future. We view the connection to these golden discs through the 3 solar rays to be the greatest importance for 2021.
Wow. Wow, and that we don't have to wait too long. We don't have to wait 15 years. It's only like a couple of weeks to get the activation with you.
That's a good one. Yes, not to, not to misconstrue levity with really the importance and the excitement that I have about presenting these, but each tonal, there's 5 each, and I would tell everyone, as I do the tonal activations, who's going to drive the tonal activations through me? Ashtar, probably. Mm-hmm. But each one will connect, I'll do, they're all, to the different sites, and I would, if it's of interest to anyone and you don't know where some of these sacred sites are or know much about them, take a look on a map and get more familiar if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much information available about these sites, so it's there. You mentioned about Lake Titicaca, how it used to be, or maybe still is, and my question is, like, is it still a big portal for visitation from different people, places?
Yes, he said, but it changes.
Yeah.
The portal itself changes. He's saying the shape changes, the location changes a little bit. He's saying, I want to be mindful of who's overhearing me and who isn't.
Yeah, I love it. Good. Yeah, it's important to be mindful, for sure. No, thank you. And it sounds really, like with these golden discs, the possibilities and the potential for us to expand our consciousness, expand our capacity to hold more light, to hold more information, is huge.
Greater forms of intimacy, greater forms of cognitive ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It will be unique to everyone. And, potential is a wonderful word, isn't it? Because to proclaim that after you hear the 5 tonal activations, you're suddenly going to be in the what's it called? Your IQ is going to jump threefold, is not being authentic. I don't know, it might jump 10-fold for all we know. All I know is what Michael said, that this is just what kind of changes can be expected. Again, he didn't tell me how quickly. I don't believe it's 30 years from now, certainly. And for those of you that, gold represents love. It's the highest healing energy on the planet. That's why we use it so much in energy healing. At least I do. If you've not worked with me, okay? Gold is love. Yeah. They're golden discs. And, the light beings have done so very much since the eon of time to overthrow the nefariousness and develop the rainforest and help us in so many ways that, if nothing more than, acknowledging, their help. And of course, I guess this might lead us back to what else we were kind of intimating earlier, and that is, who are we and where am I from? Mm-hmm. And so when we do move into teaching about, Michael tells us most human beings are not from Earth. Mm-hmm. He said that in my realm anyway, for, quite a while now. at a time when he thought people were ready to listen. I didn't hear that 25 years ago when I started this work, you know.
Right.
Things are dropped down kind of as the, what does it say, this, when the student's ready, the teacher appears, and but that's a global statement also. But when we talk about star home,
Mm-hmm.
Michael, when Michael responds to that, we're talking about the incarnation prior to this one, because when we stop, because if we talk about star lineage, because most of our souls have been all over the universes, all over the galaxies. And so just for, you know, clarity, if we do move into any more of that than just what I'm just saying, to distinguish, you know, have we had many star homes? Most of us? Yes. If someone wants to know their star home before this incarnation, then we usually kind of go into one home. So when Alara read the description that I identify myself now as a second wave Palladian,
Mm-hmm.
that's prior to this incarnation. You know, but
Yeah.
our souls have been like, you know, everywhere. A few people, and I don't know, Alara, maybe you can comment on this even, but the last I heard, there are a few souls that don't cycle in that way, you know, from the other galaxies. I don't know what that percentage is, but
I think it's very low, very, very low.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably about 10%, I think.
But it's you know, it also depends on who you're talking to. I mean, I've talked to 3 different people, and I've received 3 different answers, you know, so about where I'm from, you know. So it's like, I'm from Mintaka.
Well, okay, here's why, if I may jump in there. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And that can be why, and I'm not channeling this, but it can be because Michael's told me this with clients before. If someone, if a person, if we would happen to say someone's star home is Arcturus, and oh, I thought I was so and so, or someone else said, well, we don't go into what other people said, but there can be a blending. In other words, sometimes Michael will tell a client that if you have a whole bunch of star family members, your cosmic family, and let's just go with Pallades and Arcturus to be quick about this. Let's say you're a Palladian, but you feel you have some traits of Arcturus, or were told, or your own guides maybe told you, okay? Arcturus. Michael has said that can occur when you've had so many visitations back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, it's hard to tell. Or you have so many family members that are now present in Arcturus that it kind of gets a little blended. You know, it's almost the same equivalent of saying, well, I was born in Missouri, but I spent 20 years in Utah, and then I spent 30 years over in Iran, and you know, so to me now, having done a fair amount of talking about where's my star home, the where doesn't even matter anymore.
Exactly.
Okay, what does matter is the realization that I'm from a light race, and I'm more concerned about what the light race teachings are, what my purpose is, than sort of squabbling a bit over, you know, am I from Sirius minor or major?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think it really matters that much anymore where you're from, but what do you resonate with now? And, you know, like, who are you working with? And, you know, what traits can you develop within yourself to assist yourself and assist humanity? So it doesn't really matter anymore about what you've been or where you've been, because we've done and been everything, but where do you want to go moving forward? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's very true, right.
Yeah,
very
that's
true.
So I was like, yeah, I've been told I'm from Mintaka, I'm from Hader, from the sun, you know, and it's like, okay.
Well, again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that that information was incorrect either.
No.
Again, the distinction is what part of your soul journey were they looking at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think as we're talking about, more importantly, you know, if people, you know, a lot of times people may be uncertain about their life.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
even without being lost. But, you know, what am I here to do? You know?
Exactly. And that's when people are feeling unfulfilled or like not sure of what they want to be doing and which direction they should go. That's when they're asking those types of questions. What's my purpose? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? You know?
Well, and to that regard, you know, it can be helpful to know what your compass is, right? To that regard, it can be helpful to know, do you have a star mission? Because some people feel it. I mean, they feel it energetically within them, and it can be quite frustrating or irritating if you're feeling something energetically, like you've got to do it, but you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
you know, maybe you can explain really quickly, Kelly, and from, you know, Archangel Michael's perspective, what is the star mission?
Yes, I'm happy to explain this. In fact, I'd like to go about it differently. I'd like to go about it in reverse order, is all.
Sure. Yeah.
A soul purpose, because every human being has a soul purpose. Okay, that's what he taught in the very first book I channeled, Into the White Light. Mm-hmm. It's the first page of our soul charts, in fact. So every human being, no matter what your cycle, no matter what your soul's journey has been, has a purpose. You may have multiple purposes, but that's what it's referred to. So Michael says it can be a compass in life. It's one of the few things that never changes. Okay? It can bring great, deep joy. So many times it's a career because it's kind of an earthbound thing, but it doesn't have to be. It won't change. If you've never had a career, your soul purpose at any age, but let's say, you know, at 99, your soul purpose is still going to be the same purpose it was when you entered the incarnation here. So soul purposes can be things like healer, teacher, or communicator, or beautifier, or homemaker, or dozens of them that I've heard. And so he encourages us to walk in the direction of what our purpose was for the fulfillment that it brings us. Okay? By contrast, not everyone has a star mission. You only have a star mission, I believe, or what I've heard so far. Anyway, I want to get off on that. But all I can speak is what I feel I know to date. Okay? So, a star seed, you have a star mission if you're a star seed. A star seed is someone who came from the Palladian or the Herculean galaxies to transmute disharmony on Earth. That doesn't mean if you don't have a star mission, your mission of your purpose is still a large part of your life experience and so on and so forth. But the star mission is going to be very broad by comparison to a soul purpose. I like to give the image that if you think about your star mission as the top of an open umbrella, mm-hmm. and the soul purpose is like the handle. It's quite a bit more defined, you know?
Yeah, got it.
And so, in fact, when we're talking about resources a little bit ago, there are many star seeds that I personally worked with that needed some insight from Michael about what their star mission was, and many of their missions were to work with resources, helping us in the next generation so that we don't source Mother Earth, you know, we don't rob Mother Earth. That was their mission, exploring new means and technologies. Not all missions were like this, but in any event, so the star missions are broad, might be to help the poor, might be to look for new ways to source technology and work with the other star beings that have that same star mission. So that's, that's coming into greater awareness, I think, than, years
Mhm.
ago.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And that's the thing, is like, if we're called to do something, it makes us feel good. That's usually what our purpose is. It's like my purpose is to, you know, not necessarily do this show, but to bring together, guests and speakers and participants to learn from each other, to, a community, to build a community of people who are interested in this information and so on.
Well, I don't know if we've ever, your soul theme, for example, might have a communicator aspect in it.
Yeah.
For
Which I
example.
never imagined, 10 years ago.
Right. A lot of times people, many times my experience is people may know deep down, oh yeah, I always wanted to be doing healing work, but my mom, somehow I got into accounting.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
But again, it's really helpful, can be helpful for anyone. You don't have to be completely lost to be benefiting of some of these things, because the sole purpose is something that doesn't change.
So Kelly, really quick. So, like in package B, there's a 30-minute personal session with you. Can people use that session to talk about or get information about their soul purpose or their star mission?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I just wanted to comment about that also, about anything, truly, if that's what they wanted, if they wanted to know how to connect with their guides more fully, if they wanted to get an overview month by month for the year, this upcoming year from Michael, any and all of those things. And also, if you've not worked with me before, even really had a channeled session, you certainly can present questions for other people and animals. It's really not just has to be for the individual yourself. But there's nothing Michael and the other guides can't help a person with. Sometimes when I've worked with clients multiple times, when I'm blessed to have that experience, someone might want Mother Mary's guidance, or Yeshua's guidance, or whatever. And so it's presented, I think, as a session with Michael, but I'm certainly, an open channel to any and other of the masters and the light beings if need be.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so was there anything else that Archangel Michael wanted to share with us?
Well, let's see. If we talked about everything in my sense of the world here.
We still have some people with their hands raised that have been raised for a long time.
I'm ready for questions.
Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't want to miss anything that Michael wanted to share.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So, Linda, you want to unmute yourself and ask a question preferably based on, the topic.
Right. Right. I will. I promise. Okay. Hi, Kelly. Could you, Archangel Michael, when this COVID-19 will come to an end, and when the vaccines that I found personally from nurses that I know are telling us that it is actually killing the people, when will this stop?
All right, I'm gonna, this is like the most sensitive of topics here, and Michael's been asked about it before. So, when I act as a medium, which I am also a medium, sometimes people on the other side, they don't even know that there's a COVID thing here. They can't even see it. What do you suppose that tells us? I don't know, it's open to interpretation, but I'm just sharing with you some of my experiences. More than one soul can't even see it. They can't even feel it. They don't even know what the disturbance is all about until we tell them. So, but anyway, back to your question. Michael has weighed in on this before, but I'm happy to listen for like right now, of course, for you. So, it's kind of a broad topic too, like describing love. Earlier, he said when when the mask would come off. Maybe is that a more direct way, so we're not here forever? Is that a more streamlined question that you want to ask, Michael?
Okay, so when the masks come off and when we can travel freely and be able to hug our friends and family members again. Sure.
Okay, thank you, Michael. When do you see this being? Well, he's saying it's already happening in some places of your world, as you might know, he's saying.
Yeah.
So he just paused there for a moment. So do you want to say more, you know, and tell us a bit more? He's saying, do you remember, friends, when we talked about consciousness and thinking?
Mm-hmm.
And the climate for 2021, what is it partially based on? He's saying again, the stars and the planet. The planetary alignments will go back into a less angry position by the end of March, April, approximately. The human will, that's number 2, the climate. So what you're asking me to look at is part of the climate, is it not? In fact, it might be what some consider a large aspect of your climate in your world, he's saying. So the other thing I mentioned was the collective consciousness. So I have some insider's information about it, he's saying, but it's still a little bit of a variable time frame. Again, human beings must rise up from some of the fear-based nonsense that's going on. Not to say that there haven't been certainly those who personally suffered loss. Let us not diminish that. But there's also been a obstruction of justice, he's saying. And so let's say it in the most favorable way I can say it to you, friends. If humankind keeps their thinking in the very highest light, that this virus will pass quickly, it will. What would that timing be? Well, to answer your question, globally as I see it, June, July.
Okay, good.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda.
That's very helpful.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Good. So then maybe the retreat in July will be on.
That's the word I got.
Awesome. Pat, you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kelly, for all your wonderful information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been guided to, over the years, telling me that I've moved in different places and that I'm a grid holder.
Okay.
For the earth. And I send love to Mother Earth every day.
Beautiful.
And all humanity. And that seems to, I'm feeling that's what I'm doing here.
So is that your question? If that is your purpose or mission?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Michael, what about this, please? He's just saying, and you're doing it so well. He's saying, but my friend, do you ever feel as though you might tire? He's saying it might be a bit like tying your shoelace over and over and over again. He's saying, what I'm suggesting to you is that maybe it's time to add a different colored shoelace to your shoe tying routine.
Okay.
You understand? You're following him along so far?
Yes.
So he's suggesting some new ways to doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Right, by the analogy of different colored shoelaces. Do you want to, do you want to briefly tell her, suggest some ways to do this, please? Right, because he doesn't, it's a bit too constraining for you. And sorry, sometimes he gets so loud, I just end up screaming and I can't really help that. I don't mean to, I can't help it. It's happening now, I can tell. But anyway, I'll try to stop this somehow.
It's all good. It's all good.
Darn it. So Michael feels as though that, it's a bit constraining, as magnificent as a job as it is. And even if he didn't call it a magnificent job, listen, all of us have a magnificent job when we help somebody. We smile, we hug, we forgive. We'll put it in that perspective. But let me listen to this little bit of restriction that Michael wants to free you up from, okay?
Okay.
Expand yourself. And what would that be? Okay, he's asking you to use and invoke a blue light. Use and invoke a blue light. And my friend, I think you'll get kind of all re-excited about it again.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that blue light is it's not robin egg blue. It's more like deep, like navy-ish blue.
Navy blue. Okay.
Yeah, very similar to navy blue.
When I close my eyes, I see violet light, violet bluish light.
Well, focus on the blue spectrum there, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
will help me balance more.
Expand more.
Expand more.
He thinks
Okay.
you're a little, constricted in that grid work.
Okay.
Okay, because just a moment ago, remember, if you would please, Michael said a lot of the grids have been repaired, so probably there's some other extension to it's not really repair literally anymore, right? That you're doing or that's needed. That's why he's brought in this blue light.
Okay.
So maybe you're making it thicker or building sacred geometry. I don't really know what that all means, and but we certainly could go further in a longer session if you wanted. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Pat. Awesome.
Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
All right. Stephanie. Oops. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, thank you for doing this. I'm taking all these notes. So my question is about moving internationally. This is so weird because it hadn't even occurred to me until recently. And my husband and I are suddenly feeling very called to move to like Costa Rica or at least buy property over there. And I'm wondering if this year is a good time to do that. And I'm worried. I have so many animals around me all the time, just naturally, all kinds. And so I'm confused about that, like leaving them to go.
Okay.
That would be weird.
Okay, thank you. We're going to ask Michael if it's a good time to move there or not, okay?
Okay.
Michael, what about this, please? What I'm hearing is he's saying everything has a hibernation time or germination time, and he feels is that this is germination time.
Okay.
So that's your answer response there. Okay.
Okay. So not right now.
Yeah, that's what I got. Not right now.
That's what I got out of it. One quick thing about the vaccine. Without and trying to keep us all in harmony, I guess, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
What I heard, I don't know, a few weeks ago was that at the beginning, the vaccine could be quite horrific. Quite horrific, contained of, and not, and it was developed way long ago, by the way, but we're not getting into that topic too deep today at all, probably. But the encouraging, right, the new insights, the positive tone of the call today is to stay in that place of positive tone. And Michael said that the light beings were successful in taking, if not all, the majority of the nasty out of the vaccine.
Good.
That they want a battle.
Oh, good. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to take it if I can help it, but if I have to, then I will. If that's the only way that I can travel to see my kids in Canada, then that's what I'll do. If that's the only way I can see my husband in the hospital, then yeah, that's what I'll do. So I'm not going to let something like that stop me from choosing and creating my life. And that's what everybody has to really get to that point.
Right, again, about, seeing, uh, again, that can be part of the fog, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
And that it ultimately comes down, of course, to a personal decision. But the empowerment that I heard was that they were successful in taking the worst out of that thing.
Awesome. That's what we want to hear.
And again, let's go back to this just a little bit, and that is, if you go get the vaccine, we're just using this as an example, okay?
Mhm.
But it applies to anything, really. If you go to the vaccine, get the vaccine, and somebody tells you, oh, you got to get it, you really should get it, you got to get it, and you're, I don't know, and you're really, oh, everybody went, they're getting it. What do you think you've done to the effectiveness or lack thereof about getting something? Or conversely, right, it's called the power of the mind in our energetic fields.
Mhm.
It goes back to the water, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. But MC is asking, and I don't know if this is a comment on what I said, MC, but doesn't agreeing and going along with suppression actually see that energy stronger in the collective? I don't think so. It's about what is your intention behind it and what is your energy behind it. So my energy behind it, for example, is not out of fear, right? But it is, for me, seeing my family, my children, my husband, my parents is more important than some silly vaccine. It doesn't bother me.
Well, again, just to
Go ahead.
chime in here, that the word suppression,
Yeah.
I'd probably remove that too from our vocabulary.
Absolutely.
We understand the point. I think we're just saying, again, hopefully, is that the nasty of the nasty has been taken out of the thing.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, and that's the thing, it's like, what is your energy? What is your intention so for me, what makes me feel good, right? What makes me feel good is seeing my children and my family. That makes me feel good. And if the only way I can do that, because I live across the pond, is by getting on a plane, and taking a vaccine first, then fine, so be it. I'm fine with it. I'll be fine. I'm not worried about anything happening. So if you keep your vibration high and your intention high and all that wonderful stuff, I think I'll be fine. It's not happening anytime soon. So I was like, whatever. But whenever that happens, if that's the only way, then yeah. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah. So let's keep it positive. This is about insights and positive information, uplifting information as we're moving forward, right? As we're moving forward into the 2021 to 2024, right? Yeah.
Oh,
so
wait,
I'm not going to go into the other
wait a
stuff.
minute. Wait a minute. I missed a piece here. Okay, sorry about this, folks. I have a little more piece to share.
Go ahead.
What is meant by full disclosure? Okay, Michael said, whenever I speak to souls about other intelligent life forms, I am filled with great promise and hope that mankind will continue to embrace new situations with love, kindness, and understanding. The pendulum continues to swing from those who fear 21 and beyond to those who see it as a marvelous nirvanic experience. Those who see these years as a nirvanic experience are resonating closer to the truth. Depending upon where any soul lives, disclosure of so many untruths will continue to be revealed. This is not just a one-year 2021 exchange, but it is a process of enlightenment which has increased over the last decade especially. Anything that takes a soul away from self-love, unity, joy, grace, perfection, and hope will continue to be disclosed. Perhaps some of you interpret this question, which we've been asked for decades, when will the light races and their visitation to Earth since time began become common knowledge? Or perhaps some of you are seeking counsel directly once again when the light ships will land on Earth for the majority of humans to see. This present timeline is near 2024. Until then, more localized, sighted, and reported landings of light ships will become known and valued. He goes on to say, yes, I said valued, not ridiculed or rebuffed. This is great advancement for your planet. Beautiful.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. And MC, please don't, it's all good. You know, I'm glad you asked the question. It did bring up a, you know, discussion, a conversation. So it's all good. No worries, right? iPhone, you want to unmute yourself? We're going to take one more quick question. And then
Is that me?
I think so. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. Hi, Alara.
Hi,
Kelly.
Sorry, what's your name? iPhone?
Sarah.
Sure, Sarah. Hi.
That was really beautiful. Thank you. I have a question for Michael. I've been feeling like so anxious lately, and I was wondering if you could give me some help as to what I could do or why.
Okay, so that, I'm just going to say that's a little bit vague in general. So like anxiety is usually caused by something, right? It's not just general. I guess it can be general too, but can you pinpoint a little bit and maybe that answer can be of benefit to everybody as well?
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of general. I can't seem to find a specific reason why. I just feel it physically.
Okay.
And I'm working so hard on, you know, calming, breathing, you know, meditating, and I just wondering why.
Okay, thank you. Anxiety, as most of us probably know, can be caused from many, many, many different things. On the spiritual realm or the energetic realm, it can be caused by things that maybe you do or don't know about, but it can, even foods can create anxiety within us, right? Radioactivity, the 5G, all of that can create anxiety. The thoughts that we collect in our home, if that's not cleared out and elevated, can create anxiety. You can pick up anxiety from others. That's called wearing a false mask. There might be something in your soul chart timeline where you're learning, attempting unconsciously to learn a lesson, and the lesson is creating anxieties for you. So those are just a few of, you know, the, you know, aspects of anything really. You know, same could be said for a more positive flow. So to be brief here, let me just ask Michael, what's contributing to it? Okay, and
Thank you.
my pleasure. Michael, what's the contributor or the main cause of the anxiety, please? Well, I don't edit what I hear, you know, ever. Michael said most of it's coming from having one foot too much in the past.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
And that may even be if it's something you do at night and you don't know it, you know, we don't want to put you on the spot. We want to help you. So one quick thing, Michael, that might be a tool. Again, not everyone responds to one tool. I liken, you know, the work they asked me to do, like, you know, you got a leaky faucet. Well, somebody's faucet is going to be leaking more than another, you know, so they're going to need more than one tool to get the remedy there than somebody that just got a little drip, drip, drip. But Michael, did you want to ask her, is the one thing you'd like her to do, picking one thing, help her? Okay, again, these are brief. We can always go deeper if you want in a session that's being offered, but he's saying, write down 25 things, my friend, that you want to do in the future, and then start taking action on 5 of them.
Okay.
We can all do that, actually. Yeah, that's a great exercise.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you, Sarah.
And thank you so much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
I just want to ask Michael if he has any gifts for us, like in the past, he's given us like a silver feather. Is there any gifts that he can give us now that would be beneficial?
He did? I don't remember that.
I forget which call it was on, but we did receive one once, a silver feather. I remember that. And somebody wrote it in the chat too.
Okay, let's see. My friend, any more gifts other than your wisdom today?
Yeah.
Yes, he's saying a flower. And what kind of flower? He gave everyone a different flower. It will appear differently to everyone, he's saying.
Nice.
A flower. And you know, everything has of course, a harmonic frequency, or you know, a meaning, a vibrational meaning.
Yeah.
Those particular flowers, the flower that you received also has a code, and he said it will be interesting to see if anyone can open the flower and discover the code, although it's not necessary that you do.
Oh, Linda, I got something similar. So Linda said that she got a blue hibiscus, and I'm like, oh my God, I got something blue hibiscusy as well.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Yeah, it's like blue, but you know, in the inside, it's like a little bit of yellowy gold, sparkly. I don't know. It's like, yeah, but so similar, Linda. We got similar flowers, not the same, similar. I love it.
And she knows how to spell hibiscus.
Yeah, exactly. Good. And so, you know, it's as simple as, you know, like for me, I just closed my eyes for a second and it's like, okay, what is the flower? And it showed up. It was just right there, you know?
Well, you know, but for a lot of people, it's not that simple.
I know. Bianca got a pink rose. Ooh, awesome. So maybe mine's on hibiscus, but it's a blue flower. That's what I saw. No, I don't know. We'll see.
Pink rose.
Linda said, I heard it also. Okay, cool. And Annie got a white peace lily. Oh, nice. So people are getting different flowers. A sunflower, says Sarita. Good. Yay. So how can they use this flower now, Michael?
Oh, I don't know that we got, every flower is different. I don't know that we got.
Okay.
Time. Just take it as it was given, you know, because everybody's is different. So.
Yeah. Unless I got a white tulip. Good. So just use it as a gift from Michael and, you know, receive it.
Yeah, maybe it'll be discovered later. Mm-hmm. Most everything grows and expands, doesn't it? Very few things stay the same. That's kind of why that whole soul purpose thing I find kind of fascinating. You know, it's absolutely one of the things that doesn't change in life.
Interesting. And Renee got a tulip too. Awesome. All right, so a white peony. Oh, I love peonies. Oh my God, I love peonies. Oh, I just love them so much. Okay, so Kelly, do you want to talk about the special offer package, special offer packages?
Sure, absolutely. We developed 2 offers. So the first one, we spoke quite a bit, I think, about the solar ray activation, and there's a date on the page. There'll be a recording. It's tonal activation. There's we spoke about what Michael feels is the strengths of experiencing it. The next item are 90-minute. Each of these are 90-minute, not a total 90-minute, but they're divine feminine calls to anchor the divine feminine grids within yourself and Mother Earth, and there's healing in all of them. And the guides that I channeled there are Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Mother Earth, and Isla, who's a Christed intergalactic guide. And some of these come with exercises to do and expand for yourself. And so all that's being offered at $149. Then if you'd like to go a bit further and have some personal lifetime with me package, the other package, it includes A, is 30 minutes with Michael, as we said, talking about, or any other guide for that matter, in any way that you want it. I've also included 3 months of my Awaken to Ascendancy program, which we cover all kinds of topics, some of which are listed, I think, in the sales page there.
Mhm.
It's held once a month. It's an hour-long call. Some months MP3s are additionally given, and we have Q&A. And that program of mine has been going for several years now, and has had some regular subscribers. But the first 3 months then are being included. And the special bonus about using star codes. We didn't really talk about star codes much. I should probably mention something about them now. So if you've not worked with them before, the star codes bonus are for physical issues. And again, star codes are a way to heal. They're a form of light language. So they usually comprise of numbers, colors, letters, not always, but there are, that word harmonic that Michael used a couple times. Well, he's used harmonic arrangements in elevating home space probably for a decade now. But in any event, when we get the free bonus link working for everybody too, up the front end gift really, there are some additional star codes in there, but for different variety of, some of them are cosmetic star codes, and the star codes are, again, they're a way to heal or expand. Some star codes connect a person with the great central sun, Mother God, Mother, Father God, and different, expansive kinds of things. They're not always for healing, the expansion of joy. And so the star codes can be written, they can be, as Michael says, they're charged from a lot of different sources. They're charged from me, they're charged from their origination, they're charged by multiple sources. And you can listen to a little message there on the page where I talk a little bit more about them. And there's, how you work with them, that's all explained in the sales page. So I guess I don't need to go over that anymore.
And we did do a whole show on star codes last year. I forget which month it was, but we did a whole show on star codes last year.
Yeah,
at some point.
yes, we did. Yes, we absolutely did.
Yeah. So package B is $199, so that's available. Package A is $149. So you definitely want to. And again, the 30-minute session with Kelly, it's not just with Archangel Michael. It could be with other angels, masters, your team, whoever it is, and you can ask pretty much anything that you need to ask, right?
Right. Well, and there's a recording. What also isn't on here, but usually a 30-minute reading with me, if you go to my website, is $200 by itself. So, these are significant savings in order to work with one another, and I'm happy to do them. The other thing that we probably need to mention is that if you're drawn to work with me personally, that scheduling is done via email once I'm notified, or my office is notified. That's how we arrange the appointments. There's not an online scheduler. They're done all over the world and have been done this way for a very long time now. But that's, if you're wondering how would I arrange that, that's.
So I will send Kelly's office a list of purchasers of, and then they will contact you.
That's how it works. Yeah.
That's how it works. So awesome. Good. Thank you. All right. So is there anything else that you or Michael would like to add before we close off today?
Well, of course, I want to thank everyone for your time and attention. And I'd like to close with something very, very brief. He's asked me to, keep reminding people to say it, believe it, and it's very empowering, and it is. I'm a sovereign being. I'm liberated, and I'm free.
I'm a sovereign being. I'm liberated, and I'm free.
That's right.
Beautiful. So say it, declare it out loud. Definitely say it out loud.
Yeah, declare it. I love that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, declare it.
I'm a sovereign being. I'm liberated. I am free. Something like that. I already
it.
probably messed it up. I'm not sure.
No, that's it exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is the truth of who we are. We are a sovereign being. We are liberated, and we are free. So that, I'm going to end it with that. I'm not going to go into, you know, the other stuff that's going on that makes you feel like you're not, but you are. So you have to sometimes remind yourself of that. Okay.
Again, that's a demonstration of seeing the sun as opposed to looking at the fog.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah, thank you, Miralu, for writing it in. I'm a sovereign being, I'm liberated, and I am free. Say it out loud, declare it out loud from, you know, from your personal power, from your heart chakra, whatever, but like it's not just empty words. Put all your energy and emotion into it, you know? Put your energy into it, for sure. Good. All right.
And then tell your friends to say it.
Yeah. Tell everybody, say it. I'm a sovereign being. I'm liberated and I am free. And feel it within you.
It feels so good to say, doesn't it?
It does. Absolutely. It does. I mean, it gives you energy when you say it, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Good. Awesome.
And as we move into the age of Aquarius, we are going to become even more free, right? It'll be the age of humanitarianism, human beings, going to be geocentric, not not ego-centered. And so it's very much a statement or an anthem of the time that we're living in and our children are going to be inheriting.
Yeah. We're moving into that more and more. I am a sovereign being. I am liberated. I am free. So really cherish that declaration and really feel it in your entire body and being. Yeah, absolutely. Good, Annie. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you, Archangel Michael. And thank you for the gift of the flower. I love it.
Thanks,
I love
everybody.
flowers.
It was my great pleasure.
And I'm glad we got to see you at the beginning, Kelly.
I really do exist.
I know, exactly. All right, everyone. So thank you. Again, take a look at the special offer packages that are available with Kelly and Michael and Kelly's guides and your guides. They're available at alara.at/show/Kelly2. All right, so take a look at those and purchase away, but definitely get that chance to work with Kelly and Michael and or your guides, okay? Beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.